Hey folks, welcome to today's stream, and today we are going to have a look at our pawn. Okay, we have basically changed the pawn completely. We have created a brand new pawn, and as an example to that, I'll tell you what I'll do first. I'm going to make this window a bit better for you guys. Right, so we are going to 1.3, and that should make everything a little bit easier for you guys to see. So, the thing is, I shall show you this is our original pawn and our original blueprint. Okay, this was the original blueprint for our pawn animation. Okay, I have condensed it down and it now looks like that. Okay. So we have gone from this to this. Okay, so this is the point here where we want everything working as it was, right? But in a condensed fashion. Now, the reason that it was a bit of a mishmash was because originally it was made from two different pawns which implemented different systems. Okay, one of those systems was a weather system, the other, and it took animations from that. When you walked into the wind, you obviously had a slightly different animation, whereas the other animation system came from a third player adventure system. Okay, and these were mishmashed together, didn't really work, and so I decided that to streamline it and get a better idea of what was going on, to rewrite it. Okay, so it's going to take a bit of work yet, but we do have now a character and a camera where you can actually orbit around, and if you walk into the wind, it shows you exactly how that operates. Okay, so our problem now is none of the stuff works, right? As you can see, right? Nothing actually works other than our animations now being correct and everything from that point of view working fine. So what we were doing was we had our two pawns opened. This was the original pawn and animation blueprint. I think we are now pretty much done with the animation blueprint, and now we are copying over our different variables so that when we copy over some of the functions and the events, it's going to work. Okay, so from that point of view, we shall continue with that. It's not exactly the most exciting of things, but it will work. So we have added our widgets that were in the original blueprint, and we're just basically going to go through each of our variables to find out if we have the correct settings. Okay, and that looks okay. And we probably need to size that down a bit. We're not looking at the blueprints at the moment, we are just basically looking at our different variables. So we're going to make sure that we have these where required. Okay, so these are actually there, but they're not under a particular category. Okay, so for our components, we have removed this groom because it's no longer required. So we can look here, and I'm not 100% sure if some of these are required, but if we do need them, then we'll put them in. Okay, because I'm pretty sure it will soon tell us if we have a problem or not. Okay, so we have character, and we are probably not going to use that, but this is going to be under, well, you'd thought it'd be under there, but it's not. But we will find out. Yeah, it's under character. There, it's there. So we've got all them. That's fine. I have just added the widgets. Okay. So under camera, we have this, plus we have re-implemented the camera side changed. So we should have 6 otherwise, which we do. So we're happy with that. And our next one is the pawn. That looks good. Okay. Replication, don't care. Rendering, probably don't care. Actor, I'm guessing these are going to be the same, which they are. Collision, it's fine. Utilities is going to be fine. Okay. And now we've got these controls. Lookup value, turn value, forward input, blah, blah, blah. And I believe lookup value, right? Let's have a look. Yep, we've got these, which is fine. And I added these ones last night, so I know these are pretty much right. Right. So, our next one is this widget here, BP HUD. Okay, so we're going to add this, and in actual fact this should be under widget, so we'll save that for now just to keep them all the same. Right, so we're going to add a widget, and it's going to be W underscore, actually no it's not, it's going to be W HUD. Okay, and that's going to be W underscore HUD. Actually it's blueprint. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to rename it, right, because it isn't actually a we'll call it BP HUD. Okay, and it's not actually going to be in the widgets. So we have this default displacement shape. I'm not sure if this actually exists or not, so we're going to say default displacement shape. Okay, and that is going to be PDS displacement shape, and then we're going to add mannequin foots. That's okay. Then we're going to add temperature, and that's going to be float. Then we're going to add interactable item, and that's going to be interactable item. We shall save that for now. Then we're going to have main attributes. Now the reason to put all the variables in first, right, is because if you don't, nothing will compile, right? When I bring in all the functionality, it ain't going to work, right? And if I try to do the variables after the fact, it becomes a real pain. Okay, so the best way to do this is to do all the variables first. Now hopefully you'll never need to do this, but I'm afraid you've kind of got to do this quite a lot, especially if you end up using some assets that are off the marketplace or whatever, right? It just becomes inevitable that you're going to end up using these and doing some rebuilding of certain actors. Struct inventory item. So it's that one, and that's going to be an array. We've got new variable. I don't think we need that. Let's see if it's actually used. No results found, right? So basically we can delete that, compile that, and this is going to be animation instance, right? So I'm going to compile that for now. Then we're going to add anim instance, and it's going to be Groenland anim rerigged, and that's not going to be an array. Okay, and finally we're going to add current mode, and that is going to be action mode. Okay, now one of the next things we've got to do here is we've got to check the class settings to see what interfaces that we are using here. So it's displacement shape, char actions, okay? No interfaces, so we go displacement shape, and then we say char actions. Okay, you've just got to be kind of stoically go through these one by one. Now these event dispatchers, we don't actually need these, right? Because we're not using event dispatchers, we're mostly using interfaces, and these are basically to do with the third person adventure thingy asset, right? Though these event dispatchers are for those, and we're not going to use them anyway. So with that in mind, we are pretty much, I believe, ready to go. Okay. I have checked all of these to make sure everything is okay, right? And so we are basically ready to start implementing some input stuff, right? So, with that in mind, we're going to look at, first of all, this is begin play, right? And we're going to look up our input, and these ones we know is right, are correct, right? But this one, the input turn, I know I have to do a little bit of work on this one. And that's because when we show the compass, we need to know if this is turned, and we need to update the compass, okay? So, the first thing we do is we're going to find out where we do that. Now, it should have been here. But it doesn't seem to be. And that is a bit worrying, to say the least. Okay. Ah, wait a minute. There it's there. Right, this is the compass stuff here. So what we can do, well, actually what we can do, yeah, we're going to have to copy this. Copy that. And paste it here. Okay. And we'll drag this down a bit, and drag this down a bit, and there we go. Okay, so that's the very first thing that we needed to do. Everything else from the inputs is okay, I believe. It's now like our event begin play, which is going to be different. We can drag this out a bit. And we have event possessed, event unpossessed. Now, I'm not 100% sure what these are going to do. I don't think we even need these, to be fair. this is basically creating a HUD widget, which is this, and it basically does absolutely nothing. Right, so I'm going to go for this is not required. Okay, and we're probably going to go for that isn't required either. I think we're going to try and tidy things up here. We're not going to do the ragdoll update because we don't have a ragdoll. And our first bits of code that we actually need to copy in here are these things here. Okay. So we're going to copy them. And these are not going to have anything to do with that. This is the movement, right? And we want this one. We're going to paste those in, and then we're going to compile. Okay. Now, that's okay. It looks like I have named these slightly different. Oh, I didn't create the compass one. Oh well. So, we're going to go energy and duplicate that. And it's going to be called W compass. And it's W compass. Okay. Close that down. Recompile. There we go. So, good start. It has to be said. Right, we're going to close this down. We're going to go to here. And I'm going to move these. Actually, I'm not going to move them. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to call it input actions. We're going to click on that. We're going to copy the color. And we're going to paste. Okay. So there we go. Our begin play is going to end up a bit different, right? This is another one of these. We're going to copy that. we're going to paste it in. Right. I'm going to say equip bow. Ah, of course. And paste that. Okay, decent start. So the next thing that we really want to do here is not that. Well, that's weird. Although it's not. Okay. So this we can copy and paste it. And we can tidy this up a bit. And that'll do, I suppose. And fire arrow. Right. We'll copy the color again. And paste it in. Compile that. Right, so what I think is the best idea here is to get our begin play working. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to have a look at our event begin play, and we know that this is going to require some functionality. Right, so we've got that, and we need this. So we copy that, we paste it. Okay, we don't paste it. We'll do it bit by bit and see where we have a problem. We'll copy that. In fact, now that that brings up an issue, we shall address the issue. Right, now what this relates to are functions that possibly don't exist. Like, for example, this. Right? well, these are fine, but we need this recalculate carried, okay? Certainly. So we're going to add a function here, and we're going to call it recalc weight carried. Okay, then what we're going to basically do is copy this, paste it in there, line it up, and with this we're going to need that temp weight. So we're going to say temp weight, and that is going to be a float. And compile. Okay, so it's actually temp weight how I would have thought I'd done it. Let's see. And this one, this is why you want to name all your variables correctly, because it stops these type of issues. Right, so we are now on our begin play again. Right, so what we'll do is we'll do this bit by bit. So we'll go copy, paste, then join it up, compile. Okay, we'll do this, copy that, paste, don't think we even need to do that, but anyway, compile. Then our next part is actually the end. Copy that, paste it, okay, so we have can clear widgets, enable input. Okay, so we've got a custom event here. And we've got, right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do custom event, then we're going to say reset player. And that's quite big, isn't it? So yeah, don't know if this is going to, ah, damn you. I keep doing that, try to stop it. Right, we'll just grab up to here, copy that, paste it, drag it to here, and hopefully this will compile okay. Yep, it did. Now we can go to the end and copy this part and copy that, paste it, right, compile that, that's okay. And now we should be able to copy this part of the begin play, right? So this part here, copy that, paste it, and there we go. Okay. So now we should have a little bit more working. Our compass isn't moving. Oh, it is. Okay, I think I know why that is, guys. So we can go to this, and I believe it's in our input when we turn we don't get the actor rotation, we actually get the follow camera rotation. Right? And then we split that and we get the yaw. Then we press play. And there we go. Okay. Beautiful. And our next problem, and this is probably the bigger problem out of all of them, is the fact that our interactable object refer to our previous pawn. Okay. So we basically have to redo all of our items. So if we go back to our base blueprint, we need to go to base blueprint interactable. That's fine. That one is fine. Now the other thing is our BP actor right is going to have a tag called player. Okay. And then when we go into an interactable item, I believe we set up the ref char, and if we find the references, ooh, a lot. Okay, that's fine. So I believe our ref char is now going to be our Groenland pawn. Okay. And then we're going to have to cast it to this. Okay. And that's going to go in there. We're going to refresh that. Then we're going to interactable item. And when you do this, guys, as I said, you will do this on a project or two where you have to rebuild a blueprint. It might be even more than this, or it might be slightly easier than this, but this is the type of thing as well you've got to do when you downgrade a project. Right, so we're going to be doing a similar thing here, so we'll refresh the nodes. Right. And it's a bit of a tedious job, but normally at the end of it, it pays off, you know. Not the most glamorous thing to do, but it tends to pay off in the end. Okay, so we've just got to go through these. And this is why you put all your functions and stuff back in, so that you can just basically recalc. Okay. And then we can just join this back up. We can delete this one out, and then we can move this back down. We can compile that, and we should be down to 2 errors, right? And again here, if we refresh the nodes, we can get that mesh straight out, no worries. Right, we're down to 1. And again, we can refresh the nodes here. Then we can recalc. Okay. Then we can grab these, put them there, delete that, grab these, move them up. Okay. Compile that. And on that, guys, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette and a comfort break. So I shall be back in 2 minutes. In the meantime, if you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe, that helps a lot. And also check out the description for links to my Discord, which you're welcome to join also. And there's a link to my Patreon where you can support the stream and this game, and also my previous game. And you can check that out on Steam, and it'd be great if you added it even just to your wish list. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. So we are back and we're going to continue on. Can't remember where we were, but we do have a lot of stuff that is now basically going to break, okay, which is fine. As you can see, we've got lots of bad blueprints, but that's okay because we can basically get to tell us which ones aren't working, okay. And this is all because of the reference character, which was originally the other pawn. Right, so we can just basically go through each of these until we've fixed them all. Right? And it's going to show us where the problems are. Okay. So we can refresh that. And that is now the correct thing. But do we have add item? We do not. Okay. So what we need to do is in our interactable item. Ooh, interesting. Houston, we have a problem. Ah, right, okay. In this char, we need to change this char to the right thing, which is this. Compile that. Right, and then we need to gradually fix this. Okay. We can delete that. And we have our char again. Right, so we just say inventory. And because the inventories are actually still the same, there's nothing changed about them, so we can just basically do that, then do that, then do that. Okay, we do char. And that can go inventory. Right, and there we go. Then we can copy this. Delete that. Paste that. Drag it over. Plug it in there. Save that. Okay. Now we can go back to here and we can plug that in. Compile that. Okay. Now we should see our message log when we go again. It will be one less problem. Right, you'll notice our closing isn't there anymore, so we can now go into BP drink. Okay. And it's going to be the exact same issue. So we refresh the nodes, and there we go. Now that we've fixed. Okay. I wonder if this is going to go straight in there. Yeah, it is. Compile that. That works fine because we've got our eat and drink, and that is now compiled. So we can close our BP drink, our clothing. Notice all our bad blueprints are gradually disappearing. So food and fuel. We'll fix these two, and that will get us down to 3. So this one here, refresh nodes, compile, then food, compile that, refresh the node, put that in there, compile, down to 1. This is just the same. Refresh the node, pop that in the character, compile. We can now close those two. Right. Press play. It's going to should be now 3, which is good. Open that one. Open that one. Open that one. Close that for now. Okay. Go to ref char. Refresh nodes. I'm teaching you how to redo a whole blueprint and showing you how boring it is, right? Did you get a message yesterday about how to resize your screen so that you can actually read it? So, interactable. This is going to be at the bottom. We're going to set it. That's going to go in there. That's going to go there. That's going to get deleted, and that is going to go there. And we're going to do a similar thing here. So refresh that. Interact. No. Remember how you're asking me if you can change the font size? Right, and this is going to go to here. That is going to go to there. And that is now okay. So we now go to static item. Did you manage to resize the stuff? Right, that's one of them done. refresh the nodes, plug that in, gradually getting there folks, refresh, that goes in there, one more to do. Oh, set ref char, okay. So we're going to cast to Groenland. That's going to get to there. That's going to go there. That's going to get deleted. I'll show you in a second. Compile that. Right, here's how you do it. Right, if you go to Window, Developer Tools, down to Widget Reflector, right, and change this number. If I change it to 1, you'll notice everything's small. Right, if I change that to 1.4, you'll notice everything is now more legible. I don't know why I've got that so small at the moment, considering the fact that I'm working on this. So it doesn't change the font. You can't change only the font, right? But what you can do is change everything, which in effect basically changes the font size, right? Anyway, it's an answer. And it's, I think, the best answer there is. And now we should be able to run. Okay. And now we have our super twisty head. And if she walks into the wind, she gets her arm up to block it. Okay. And I'm hoping we do have that lighten up. And it does open. The only thing that's not happening is our interact buttons aren't showing, which is fine. Right. And that's probably because there's something here that's kind of screwing us up. Okay. And I'm guessing that when we build this, Bo Cattleman, I have no idea what a good course would be for filmmakers. In fact, I've no idea what a good course for anything is because I've never done any courses. So yeah, there's that. So our thing here is that this appears to be nothing, right? But there's one thing here. I haven't done this one. Although I haven't said that didn't do any difference. right? But I'm guessing, yep, this ref char should not be that. It should be grown. Okay, now I knew when I was actually redoing this pawn that this was going to cause some real issues. So don't worry, guys, I knew these problems were coming, these errors, and it's just something that you've got to go through. In this case, I've done it quite a few times. You've got to do this type of thing if you downgrade a project, so it's not exactly a surprise that basically I'm having to go through a lot of the code and fix it up. It is not an issue. Right, and as I said, at some point you'll probably end up doing it yourself, just because like something isn't working exactly how you wanted it to, or there's a blueprint that you know isn't the best, so you're basically going to redo the whole thing. Right, so we're going to have to set this. Set interactable. Okay, mate. Sequences. You should be looking at sequences in the sequencer. Along with the camera, like how to set up a camera boom and a camera track, right? So that you can move a camera, like, I can't remember what you call it in filming. There's like camera booms and there's the camera like track where you can run a camera along a track. Those are two things certainly that you're going to need to get to grips with, along with the sequencer is going to be another one. Those are going to be your, from the purposes of like filmmaking, those are your sort of directorial tools. You obviously still have to know how to manipulate characters within Unreal Engine, make them move and stuff like that. But from the actual making of the movie, I'll show you, I'll have a look in a second and I'll show you, okay, which things that you're going to be looking at. Set interactable. And that is going to go in there. What? Eh? Okay. What the heck? I'm probably going to have to drag this in again. Right, I'm going to delete those. interactable item. We're going to set it. Well, that's weird. Interesting. Right, let's have a look, right? If you click on cinematic, you'll notice that you've got your crane, your rail, which is the one I was talking about, like on a track, right? So you've got your boom, your big boom, which is the camera rig crane. Then you've got your camera rig rail and your level sequence actor, which is where you set up like the timings of things and what happens when, and then your actual camera itself. So these are the main ones that you're going to be working with to make like movies, which basically means that you're going to be making sequences, right? So that's your main things there. Right now, apparently, I've screwed this up. And that's a bit bizarre. Right, we're going to say recalc weight carried. Then we're going to refresh those nodes. We're going to fix everything else first and then try and work out what's going on with that. This blueprint is not. Ah, right, okay. So what does that mean? This blueprint is not. Right. Okay. That's okay. Right, this is a weird one. Ah, okay, hang on a second. Nothing, mate. I just practice, and tutorials on YouTube. But tutorials on YouTube, I don't use them how other people use them, right? Most people use those type of things to do a specific thing, like let's say wall running or something like that. I don't use tutorials like that. I'll get the concept and what they're using to do something, and then I'll just do it myself. Okay. Wait a minute. Ah, okay. Right, I'm not 100% sure. This blueprint is not. Right, so target. And this thing here is a BP. Right, okay. I'm not going to change this for now, right? Because this interactable item, I think, okay, I need to check something here. If we go to here, we need to look at our interactable item, and it's a BP interactable item. I don't think that should be that. I think it should be BP base interactable, and I'm going to check that against our original just to make sure that that is the case. Okay, so if we go to our original pawn and we come down to our interactable item, yeah, I'm right. I kind of knew I was right, but once I'd thought about it, but yeah. So this shouldn't be that, it should be BP base interactable. This one here, right? And that should not affect anything else, because well, this might throw up errors and it might not. It shouldn't, because every one of those classes god damn it. Not to worry. We can refresh that. And basically plug these back in. As I said, not to worry. Straighten the connection to reroute. And we're going to be doing the same thing here, so refresh, drag this down, plug it in here, refresh. Okay, we just have to go through this. I set it up wrong in the first place, but never mind. Once this is done, we'll be fine. Oh yeah, Bow Cattleman. It helps if you know a bit about programming in the first place. Well, it doesn't help a bit, it helps a lot, right? If you know the basics of like logic flow and all the rest of it, variables, arrays, stuff like that. If you know about that kind of stuff, then you'll be able to do things with blueprints, because it's just a visual way of programming. So I have been programming for quite a long time, so this isn't very difficult for me from a logic point of view. Right, we should be able to plug this in here now. And the other thing I would say is, it ain't as easy as you think, or it's not as easy as is advertised by Unreal, the same with Unity and every other one of these engines, right? They all make it out that anybody can write a game in 10 minutes, and it's just not the case, right? So you have to keep your enthusiasm in check to what's actually possible. So yeah, that's that working. Okay, so now, are we back is the question. Oh, I've got a dead goat. That's a problem, but we'll sort that out. I've got an itchy foot. 1 second, guys. Right. I'm going to have to oil my thing that holds the keyboard. Right, so we're going to try and compile that again, and that's not going to work. And then we're going to refresh that. Then we're going to do that, and we're gradually going to get rid of these errors. Right, and one left. We're going to refresh those nodes, and this is going to go into your, okay, add, oh actually we're going to have to do this. Right, so that is not going to be that, it's going to be our Groenland pawn. Save that. It's all going to fail. It's all good though, because we just need to inventory, get, these are the same type of items, so there's no change, so this is just going to plug straight in. Delete that, compile that, and that's not going to be quite right yet, so we have to get char, And then we have to say inventory. And then we plug that in there. We delete that. Drag this over. Grab this in. Duplicate it. And drag it over again. I like these to align left anyway. Not that it matters, but oh, we can delete that. Grab this. Put that in there. Compile that. Job's a good one. Do we have any errors now? Apparently not. Alright, so now we have our fancy Dan camera with a moving head. So she spins her head round. Okay. We can run into the wind and she reacts by putting her hand up to block. We can walk up to hopefully a door and our interact is not working. Access none, trying to read blah blah blah. Branch. Okay. So let's have a check on this again. Ah. This is a BP base interactable, which it's actually not. Ah. Right. Okay, so we've got a problem here. Right. And basically when we're passing in this item, it should be a base interactable, but it appears it's not. Okay. Now what I want to do here is test something else. I want to check another thing. Okay. I'm going to check our shield. Now our shield has the same issue. We can pick it up, right? But we have got an issue. Now this is a weird one. This is definitely a weird one. going to have a look at this. And we're setting and this is the item here. So this is interactable item SK. Right, but we want interactable, the normal one, right? And it's this part here, okay? And this is a base interactable. So we're going to add a breakpoint here. Okay. And press play. So as you can see, we have a reference. Oh, I've not plugged this back into the item. You see how a breakpoint really helps there? Right? We can just stop that. Right, so I need to really check the other ones here to see if I've done the same thing. Alright, so interact SK, that one's okay, but you see we were never actually interacting with an SK. SK, by the way, means skeletal mesh rather than a static mesh, just in case you're wondering what I was talking about there, right? So if I've got this right, we should now start getting our text back. Okay, we can remove this breakpoint because we think the issue has been solved. And there we go. Lovely. There we go. And there we go. Beautiful. Now, here's the issue here with this, right? That we need to change the camera slightly when she's in hunting mode, right? So that the camera is actually moving with the pawn rather than semi-independent of the pawn. Okay, but you can see there that it's working nicely. And there she is doing her thing. Oh, she's not leaving footsteps. Right, so we need to fix that. She is putting her hand up, which is good. Okay, so the only thing we've got to do now is the displacement thing, right, which is to do with the footsteps. So we're going to dismiss that and that. We're going to press play again. We're going to do pretty much what we did a minute ago, right? By trying to interact with the shield, then not doing it, then the door, not doing it, and then we're going to escape and no errors. Okay, so that's beautiful. And now we've got one or two more things to do, but for this stream I'm going to call it there. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks Bow Cattleman for watching and contributing to the chat. Interesting questions. So, as I said, if you enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe, helps a lot. Check out the description for my Discord, my previous game on Steam, which, if you don't mind, add it to your wish list. That helps, doesn't cost anything, and also my Patreon to support the channel and the game. I shall be back tonight at 8 PM. Hope to see you there. And in the meantime, I'll try and get the little quirks sorted out on this. Bye bye for now.